Welcome back to Launch Speed. I'm your amazing host, owner, sole proprietor of this show, Zach. And joined by some homeless man I found on the way to my house, Brendan. On this epic journey to fight communism, 'cause this is America.
This is America.
Roll it.
There's multiple shapes and shapes. Just decide that a real fat guy is just a bear and it's hitting an animal.
Well, it's not gonna hit a bear.
Well, yeah, I know that. It will determine the
Launch speed.
Stop! I'm trying to think. I'm trying to put my words together. You're rushing me.
Am I helping?
No, not at all. No one else can see my hands.
Welcome to Launch Speed.
So we're back.
What's going on, my dude?
What is today?
Today's the 18th of May, as we record this. Or we could pretend like it's the 20th of May when this comes out.
Nah, it's the 18th.
Okay.
These suckers are 2 days behind.
What's going on, man? What happened to you this week?
What happened to me this week?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
I don't have many excitements. I don't have any dislikes. I do have one real big dislike, though.
All right.
But we'll get into that during that.
You don't want to start out with that?
No.
Okay.
Because that would be a hard start.
That's fine.
Did you have fun playing Siege this week?
We played some Rainbow Six Siege this week. I had a blast.
You kept me up way too late the other night, man.
Nobody forced you.
You said if you don't stay on, I will kill your family, and I had no choice but to stay on.
You know, that sounds exactly like something I would say.
I mean, it really does.
Either way, it was a blast. I'm excited for us to get to ranked and it actually be more competitive instead of just like screwing around.
We need to get more people on, though.
Yeah.
It's not a game I want to play with a bunch of randos.
Right. It's like a better version of Search and Destroy from Modern Warfare.
Yeah, it is a better version of Search and Destroy.
You're right.
It's so much better done.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. If you want to play with us, just hit us up.
Yeah.
Besides that, I was excited about your headliner this week. So if our listeners didn't know, you've been making like little GIF videos that go along with some of the audio from the podcast.
Yeah.
That have been fantastic, and I thought this week's was especially good.
Did you?
I watched it like 5 to 10 times, and I laughed like every single time. I thought it was great.
What part made you laugh so hard?
Probably the Team America stuff.
Oh.
That is so good. Plus, the audio itself actually went pretty well. And so if you haven't seen those, head on over to our Facebook page and check them out because I have seriously enjoyed them.
Or Instagram.
They're on Instagram
I make them
as well.
specifically for Instagram.
Yeah, less than a minute long, and they'll fit on Instagram. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
That makes me feel good, man. That's a good hype. I like that.
Yeah. Keep it up, man. That was awesome.
You know, it's pretty painful to edit these suckers.
Yeah, I mean, you said you had trouble with the editor. Hopefully you can find a different one that doesn't give you as much trouble.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't take 20 minutes to upload a 2-second GIF.
No, it really shouldn't. Is it GIF or GIF?
I usually say GIF, but since you said GIF, I was going to go with continuity.
Do you know what it actually is?
It's GIF.
It is. But that's fucking stupid. So I say GIF.
Fine. You do your own thing. Anything else? Any other excitements?
Excitements, not so much. On the downside of things, I have a slight injury. I've had some trouble the past couple of weeks with the tendon in my tricep, and now I strained my neck yesterday.
I think we just need to put you down.
I think so. It's getting to the point where I'm old and decrepit.
You're like an old racehorse.
Yeah.
The only thing you're good for is dog food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dog food and glue. And so I'm gonna have to take a couple of weeks off from doing anything heavy. So it's a bit of a downer for me.
A few weeks off from doing anything heavy.
Probably a week or two.
Oh, I didn't know you did anything heavy.
Thanks, Zach.
No, you're welcome.
You're a real confidence booster here. I gave you a nice compliment with a headliner, and you're like, no, just bring him down, just smack him, kick him on the floor.
It benefits both of us when you praise my headliners. It does not benefit either of us to praise you in the gym.
Yes, it does.
I don't care for your dignity.
Moving on. What was your big dislike this week?
Doorways, man.
Yeah, sometimes I just run into doors all the time, and it's just, people are like, what's going on at home? And I'm like, I just ran into a door and, fell down the stairs, that kind of thing.
What are you going on? This has nothing to do like that.
Oh, that's not where you're going with this.
No, it has to do
forget everything I just said.
It has to do with my work.
Oh.
So, if anyone doesn't know, I frame for a living now. I am a carpenter. And for some reason, we don't do the door frames, which is something we should do because it's very easy for us to do and we can do it while we're working. Instead, we have to wait for a company to come in and put the door in, and then we can finish the frame.
So
doorway.
when you frame a house with wood studs, because you're using metal studs, with wood studs, you build the door frame into the studs,
Right.
with the header and everything. So you're saying that you guys don't do that at all?
No, we have to wait for the door to be put in so we can put a header on it.
Okay.
Because all the studs are, I mean, none of them are load bearing.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be pre-built to take a load. There's no ceiling above it being held up.
Uh-huh.
It's just to hold the drywall on and so people can run wires and pipe through it.
Okay.
But this doorway company is run either by Helen Keller or they've hired Helen Keller. Because they do a job and they're like, yep, that looks good. And then they walk away and we come in and we're like, what the hell is this? This door's in the middle of the room and it doesn't even belong there.
How did they screw that up that bad? Do they not have plans on which to work?
So the thing is, we go through a room first. We do the layout of the whole floor plan of where every wall is going to be, where every door is going to be. And then we frame every hallway because we need the hallway set up. That way we can control, where people can put materials. If there's a hallway, they're not allowed to put a material there.
Okay.
Because it's an access.
Right.
And this doorway group just comes in and they're like, well, there's an opening right here. I guess a door goes in. Dunk. And then they screw that bitch into the floor. Or they drill a hole in the floor and then put a massive bolt in it. It makes it, we can't get it out without getting like a impact driver back. So for the first, all of Friday, I spent fixing doorways, trying to get them plumb so a door would shut in them. For the first 3 doors, perfectly fine. It took me a while, but we got it done. And then the 4th door was set. I mean, I'm going to exaggerate and say it was 45 degrees off kilt and it was just turned, but it wasn't. It was just so bad that we couldn't change the door's frame without either twisting it or bending it. And so we stood around for about an hour trying to figure out how we're going to do it. And at the end of it all, I just got so mad. I got on our scissor lift and I just hit the doorway. I just tore it out of the concrete with the lift.
Whoops.
Just ran it over, and then I gave that company a call, and I said, hey, guys, I accidentally hit your doorway with our lift, and I've messed it up pretty badly, and you guys need to come and reset it back in the concrete. They're like, yeah, we can do that. And they come back. And they're like, how fast were you going? Because the doorway, it's like bent in half, and it's partially under the lift because I left the lift where I hit it.
I don't know if there's a setting for speed on the scissor lift, but it sounds like you were going approximately ramming speed.
I was. I made sure the launch speed was high.
Nice.
So, and then since none of them spoke Spanish or spoke English, and I don't speak Spanish, I didn't even have to tell them the story.
Very nice.
They looked at the doorway under the lift, and they were trying to figure out how it got there.
Don't worry about it.
Don't
It
worry.
happened. Man, that sucks that a company can be so inconsiderate. I mean, and just wrong.
It's not even that they're inconsiderate. It's that whoever their project manager is of their group isn't communicating with the rest of us, and they don't know what's going on.
Well, that's just terrible business.
It is. And the thing is, they don't have to worry about it because most of the times when they mess up, you can't tell because we had to come in and fix it. And it's not like it's.
I mean, that should be their job, though. They should be on the hook for fixing the doors.
I agree, but they're not because the thing is, for us to complete the wall, we have to frame it. We have to frame the rest of the doorway, and then that way we also fix the small errors they make until it comes to it's 10 degrees out of line, and there's no way we'll ever get a stud lined up to it. So you hit it with a lift.
Man, that's obnoxious. And I feel like that's not that uncommon with people doing construction. They're like, not my house. They're like, whatever.
I feel like everyone's just lost the sight of the goal, which is to have a hospital at the end. And now everyone just cares about getting their money and getting what their specific job was done, regardless of what it means.
That sounds like construction.
Everyone wants to, I'm here, so I get to do all of my work first. That's not how this works, man. Like, the first people who get to go are the framers because you need a wall before you put anything in it.
No, you just have a freestanding door. Who cares?
That's what they have. And then also what they'll do is they'll put a bunch of freestanding doors in with no walls around them, and they're really easy to dent and to twist, and people just hit them, with something, and we'll come in, the door frames jacked up, and we have to get them to replace that one.
Wow.
That's why I figured they wouldn't care that I just mashed it with a lift.
That's so stupid. I guess they're just trying to get their money and get out of there, and any incidentals.
If they're not putting in doors, they're not doing their job. So they're just trying to find work for themselves. They're like, well, it says door here on the floor. I don't know which side of this line it should be on. It can't be in line with this wall, so we'll just stick it here.
Here it says we only ordered 200 doors, yet somehow you charged us for 12,000.
It's just on the 10th floor where no one's gotten yet.
There's
just
a bunch of doors.
It's
All doors. Who needs walls when you can just have doors lined up?
What is that? Isn't there a Rick and Morty? Doors for fake doors or something? I don't know.
Yeah, fake doors. You know, come here and get your fake doors.
Yeah.
And real doors. And yeah. Speaking of Rick and Morty, that was good. That was good. They've announced their 4th season start date, which is in November of this year. Which I know you didn't really enjoy Rick and Morty that much.
I was gonna say it's another show I'm not gonna watch.
Casey and I absolutely love that show. We just find it hilarious, and we got on board after a lot of other people. So it's not like we're like, oh yeah, we like the first, anything like that. But we
not
seriously
the hipsters in
not
the series?
not hipster. We seriously enjoy that show, and I'm really looking forward to it again. I mean, Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland do a very good job with that show, and it speaks. It's like the most popular show in Adult Swim.
It's a terrible show.
It's an excellent show. You have to have low expectations, and you kind of also have to enjoy that kind of humor.
Yeah, you do have to have a simple kind of humor.
I didn't say that.
But that's what you need.
One could argue the opposite.
Okay, you can argue. You want to argue real quick?
I think that it's a more intellectual kind of humor than dumb kind of humor.
What?
Yeah.
Where do you see that?
They bring up very existential ideas about existence, life, infinite timelines, if you will, possibilities that like all kinds of things. It's not just like running around shooting aliens. I mean, that's a large portion of it, but they bring in these larger concepts which are hard for people to grasp. And I would by no means say that the writers of the show are stupid or unintelligent.
I wouldn't say that either. I would just say the people who enjoy the show are stupid and unintelligent.
If you go on that Reddit community, you will be thrashed because okay, all right. So let me put this in perspective. Everyone who watches Rick and Morty thinks that they're so intelligent. They think they're very intelligent because it does pose some intelligent questions.
It might not. The goal might not have been to pose any questions. They're just using ridiculous scenarios to have a funny story, and you guys are just reading way into it.
That's unlikely.
Okay.
I listened to many podcasts by the creator of the show.
Okay.
I kind of understand how he thinks. I know the guy.
You know him. You got his phone number in your cell.
Yeah.
You shoot him a text when you go to bed at night.
Yeah. It's like, night, Dad.
Heart. Good morning, babe.
That's all I have to say about that, though. We haven't done it yet, but as soon as we're done this, we're about to go record a YouTube video. I don't want to give it away. And assuming everything goes well, I think we'll have it out within the week. So keep an eye out for it.
And there won't be any funerals.
There should not be any funerals.
One can hope.
No promises. One will hope. Shout outs to all of our patrons. Still at 4.
Your mom's not going to help us out here?
Nope, doesn't like it enough.
That's upsetting.
She did make us that awesome sign, though.
She did.
Which I was going to hang up, but I did not have time to do that before.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, we got it right here on the TV, so.
Yeah, it's true.
It looks fantastic.
It does look pretty good. Nice going.
Whoever drew it is an artistic person.
Very thank you much, sir. Very thank you much, sir. We have a permanent discount on t-shirts for our Patreon subscribers, and it's a very hefty discount.
I agree.
It's very hefty.
What are we rocking? 30%?
It's something like that.
We're not going to make a dime off our patrons.
Yeah.
Besides off our patron.
Yeah, we don't really care. I mean, it's cool shirts.
Did we start this to make money?
No, absolutely not.
Because we had low expectations to start with.
Very much so.
We expected 3 listeners, and they're all sitting in this room.
And we wanted to do, for everyone who shares our headliner, we'll give you a personalized shout out on the podcast.
I like that.
So, I mean, I think that you're putting some good work in there. I think that other people should see it. I very much enjoyed them, and I want them to be shared. So if you go ahead and share it on Facebook or Instagram, we'll go ahead and write that down and give you a nice shout out on the podcast.
We do have one more shout out though.
We do.
Yes,
We do.
It just appeared. In breaking news.
Breaking news.
We ran into somebody at the Celtic Festival. I don't want to name them because they would just love to hear their name.
Don't give them what they want, Zach.
But we went to their party last Saturday. That's what we talked about on the podcast.
Right.
And they had Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, they did.
Let's just talk about Chick-fil-A for a second because that was delicious.
That was so good.
Where we were doesn't really matter.
And we got to take some of that home.
Yes.
But, I mean, Chick-fil-A, I think we've talked about Chick-fil-A a lot. It is my favorite and really the only fast food that I eat.
I'd like to
Super
say the same
good.
thing.
But that's not true.
It's not true.
You eat so much McDonald's.
I haven't had McDonald's since I stopped working. Since I started the new job, I've had McDonald's.
Oh, what do you do for lunch? Do you bring your own lunch?
I make 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I bring 1 little snack bag of graham crackers.
Nice.
And I have that every day, Monday through Friday.
Very, very diverse there.
It is.
You know, I think I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day in 11th and 12th grade for lunch.
You really can't beat it.
It's pretty damn good.
It's not the best, but it sure as hell ain't the worst.
So I was always, because a lot of the times, like when I was living in Germany, I didn't really feel like making my lunch, and my mom felt bad that I was in Germany, so she would make the sandwiches for me, and I'd put everything else together. And so it took me a very long time to realize this, but they weren't quite like square, like they were a little smushed. You know, I was like, what's going on with that? So it was years later that she told me she was cutting out the middle and eating it while she was making a sandwich, and that's why they weren't quite square. I was like, nice.
That's the way to do it, man. You don't want any of the crust, so you just cut the middle out.
Right.
But for reals, wanted to give out a shout to Miss Rice. She is one of our biggest supporters.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the food. It was excellent.
It was amazing.
And don't worry, we enjoyed it for the next couple of days.
And congratulations to your daughter for graduating in 4 years with a master's.
Yeah, that is super impressive. It took me 5 years for a bachelor's.
It took me 5 years for a bachelor's as well.
That you don't even use.
To work in construction.
Nice.
Yeah. But moving on. So, can I show you my bear bits?
Please do.
Is that okay?
I don't have any to show you in return, but
So this is about Asiatic black bears.
I guarantee that's how you say that.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Asiatic.
Asiatic,
Black bears.
also known as Ursus tibetanus.
I think that's Ursus tetanus.
I'm just going to keep butchering names here.
Please do.
It's also known as the moon bear.
I think that's mun bear.
Oh, yes. All right. Enough of it. And white-chested bear. Well, that's kind of, derogatory. It's a medium-sized bear that is native to Asia.
Asia?
Damn it. I didn't keep it up. Well, the females weigh about up to 270 pounds, and the males weigh 440 pounds.
That's a pretty significant difference.
Almost twice their size.
You don't see that naturally in other species.
No.
I mean, humans, if, they get really fat or really, really strong.
That's a huge difference. And the reason why they're named also the moon bear is because they've got this V across their neck.
So that's kind of like the spectacled bear and the sun bear.
Yep.
Okay.
It looks like a big old bear cobra.
That looks a lot like the sun bear.
Well, it's the moon bear.
Okay.
So the reason why I wanted to bring them up is because most bears walk on 4 legs and are capable of walking on their hind legs, right?
Yeah.
This bear can run up to 25 miles an hour, even though it doesn't say on its hind legs. It says it's the most bipedal of all bears and has been known to walk upright for over a quarter mile.
That's a lot.
I want to know if this bear can do 25 on 2 legs.
I hope so.
That would be awesome.
What's Usain Bolt's top speed? Usain Bolt's top speed is 27.8 miles an hour. So this bear is he can barely escape the bear, but I guarantee the bear can keep up 25 miles an hour longer than Usain Bolt. But yeah, do you think he can do 25 miles an hour on 2 legs? Because that would be terrifying. That would be even more terrifying than on 4 legs. I mean, it's not the biggest of bears. 500 pounds is still pretty significant, but that's pretty insane. That's actually slower than brown bears.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that they're running on 2 legs.
Yeah. I mean, it says their walking gait is shuffling and their gallop appears clumsy, but can be quite fast. I think they're on their hind legs, man.
And that's what it sounds like. Oh my God.
They are huffing and puffing
I'm
on 2
terrified.
legs. But did you know that these bears descend from trees tail first?
They're descendants of trees? Wow.
I hate you. I just thought, like, I was reading these details and I just was trying to figure out why they included that specifically. What animal goes headfirst out of a tree?
Squirrels.
Well, yeah, but they
Snakes.
do they?
Snakes, yeah.
What are you doing over there? What the hell is wrong with you? Got a spaz over here doing a little wiggle. I'm a snake. I'm a sneaky snake.
It's interesting that they put that fact in there because obviously it's going to go down tail first.
It's because it can't, I assume it can't stand, like, be on a tree looking head down like a squirrel can or a snake.
It wouldn't be able to grip it because of the way the claws are. There's absolutely no... What an idiotic thing to put in there.
Well, I would hope they don't dive out of the tree. Asia's having a problem with suicidal moon bears.
So that's it for bear bits?
Yes, that's it for bear bits.
Going off of stuff that we talked about last week, the next Star Wars trilogy we talked about, I think it's being released 2022, 4, and 6. It's going to be directed by... I forget the guys' names, but the 2 guys who direct Game of Thrones.
See, that excites me. For people who hate this newest season of Game of Thrones, I feel like they're pretty bummed out right now.
Man, people are really upset about this season. Their names are David Benioff
And DB Wise.
and DB Weiss.
Vice.
And so they're going to direct the next trilogy, which, I mean, honestly, it can't be worse than the current trilogy that they're going through.
That's true. I wonder if they'll go with the R rating.
I would hope so. I mean, I don't want to be like, blood, gore, everything's awesome, but like things that are more like
Detailed.
violent and explicit and detailed and don't just like hang around that kid-friendly zone, I think are more intriguing.
Yeah. If they made a trilogy R rated that was kind of Game of Thrones, Star Wars style, that would be nuts.
I don't think that Disney would be okay with that. Well, that being said, Disney does have Deadpool, and they're going to keep that R-rated. That would be awesome.
I assume, is Avatar going to be R-rated?
I don't know. I think the last one was PG-13, but that one kind of makes sense. I kind of get that being PG-13. But Star Wars, I'd prefer if it was R.
Yeah. It should be. I mean, it's people with lightsabers that cut each other's hands off.
Yeah, but they never die. So, well, what do you think about the current season of Game of Thrones? Just not going into spoilers.
I love it. I think it's the most enjoyable season I've watched so far.
Really?
Like, I get the whole where people are upset with some character arcs, ending in a way they didn't like. But who cares? It's a freaking show, guys. Just enjoy what's put out in front of you.
My brother sent me a meme. And it's like part of A Princess Bride where the kid's in bed. He's like, Grandpa, you're telling the story wrong. And then the rebuttal is George R.R. Martin. He's like, I think you need to calm down about this. It's like, I mean, it was never going to please everybody.
No, it can't.
It's just not possible. I saw there was a petition with 500,000 signatures to get Game of Thrones to redo the 8th season. I mean, that's a pretty insignificant portion of the population or of the people who watch Game of Thrones, but it's still a representation of what people are feeling.
Like, they had to end it some way.
If they kept it going longer than it should have been, it would have turned into a trash TV show.
Yeah.
And so I applaud their decision to end it despite all the money that they're making. And I think that the spin-offs are a good direction to go and keep in that Game of Thrones universe that's just shelling out the money. Yeah. But it's like I'm just along for the ride.
Well,
I'm just here to enjoy it.
So they interviewed the two writers, and they said that it would take, their 8 seasons and all of the episodes they put together. They planned for this series to take that long, and that's it. So I like the fact they're like, this is our task. This is what we're going to get done, and that's what they've done.
Yeah.
Whether or not did they kind of murky the waters a little bit here and there? Yeah, but they can't follow George R.R. Martin's. He hasn't written the damn books.
He has not. He hasn't even written what's season 6. He hasn't even finished that book yet. Season 7 and 8 are going to be one book, but he's not even done season 6. And he told them how he wants it to end, but gave them the creative liberty to end it however they want. So it's very possible that the books are going to be different than the series, and then you're going to have all the book snobs being like, what the hell, and this books are better, which they're already saying, but...
Well, yeah, but most times the books are better than the movie because it's so hard to capture what you can imagine as you read.
That being said, George R.R. Martin and J.R.R. Tolkien, their books are incredibly dry and hard to get through. I would not have finished any of the Game of Thrones books except for I was listening to them in the car. So when I got bored, I would just zone out. I wouldn't stop reading. I would just zone out. And I'd come back and I'd be like, 20 minutes later, he's done describing the flower. Got it. Let's move on.
Yeah. Their writing style, it's very vivid, but only if you can get through the 40 pages it takes to introduce a character.
It really makes for... It's hard to read, but it really makes for easy and well-done adaptations of their story.
Yes.
Like Lord of the Rings, which they're making into a TV show, and Game of Thrones. And I mean, most people probably know George R.R. Martin put the R.R. in his name because of his liking of J.R.R. Tolkien's writing style.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably enough about Game of Thrones.
It
I think we
is.
did a good job of not getting into spoilers, though.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And if we did, they're edited and you won't hear them.
Yep. And so we also talked about facial recognition. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
With a kid suing for
The kid
billion?
suing Apple for $1 billion.
Right.
Yeah. San Francisco has banned facial recognition so that nothing like this ever happens again. They're the first city in the U.S. to ban facial recognition. The government has voted to ban... San Francisco has voted to ban its government agencies from using facial recognition technology. So something like McDonald's could probably still use it in order to target their ads at you better. But they stopped it because they said it was uniquely dangerous and oppressive.
Okay.
Just thought that was an interesting little tidbit. I don't have much else to say about this.
It surprises me that San Francisco cares about anyone's liberties.
Why does that surprise you?
Because California is a socialist state.
Yes, they are.
I mean, I'm not saying that because I might be on the conservative side, but just because that's their mindset, which is fine. That's what their elected has decided to do.
Yeah, well, they're on that side of things, though. They're very surprisingly like anti-Big Brother at the same time. They're like, hey, Big Brother, but also no Big Brother. And
they're like, hey, Big Brother, pay for all of our things, but at the same time, you can't do that.
Right. Yeah. So I guess they're trying to get rid of this. I kind of agree with it. I mean, this seems a little a government, law stating that you can't do this. Or actually, it's weird. They're precluding themselves from doing it. It seems a little, far to me, but I understand the concept.
But if you think about it, they've passed this where San Francisco's government agencies can't use facial recognition, right?
Right.
But the federal government agencies in San Francisco still can.
I guess they could.
Because federal still supersedes state law.
That's right. It does.
In general.
Well, I mean, in all cases, unless they've explicitly handed the powers to the states, although that's not how the Constitution exactly reads. And the Jeffersonians in me would be very irritated I just said that.
Yeah.
But unless the power is explicitly handed to the state, the law resides with the federal government.
Yeah. So it sounds like they're, look what we can do, but it's going to have absolutely no bearing on anyone's preserving their freedom.
Yeah. Privacy is just a farce at this point.
Yeah. When the Patriot Act went in, even though I know we don't like talking about politics, just when the Patriot Act went in, we could just count privacy out.
Well, that and people are signing up for all these services, which are like, hey, yeah, we'll use your data for stuff. We'll send it to people. We'll sell it to people. And it's mostly for advertisements, but it's
Yeah.
they're still collecting massive amounts of data on you.
And it can be, once it's collected, it can be accessed by pretty much anyone after it's been, given to an agency. Some media company who does advertisements probably doesn't have the security.
The only way to get around it is to pay for everything in cash. Don't use the internet.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
And live in Idaho.
And, well, I guess. I mean, you can do that anywhere. But there's not really much benefit to it, honestly. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. Moving on, though.
Yeah.
I've only been in Uber a couple times. And my experience was okay.
Yeah, it's a taxi.
It's a taxi that's a little weirder because it's somebody's car.
Yeah, when a minivan pulled up to pick me up, I was kind of thrown.
I actually took a minivan taxi one time. Though. One of the few times I've taken a taxi, which is strange.
Keep going about Uber.
So believe it or not, Uber drivers are sketchy.
Really?
I know it's a hard concept to grasp, but in this particular case, a former military commander who had committed war crimes was an Uber driver in the United States. So this guy, whose name was Yusuf Abdi Ali, has been facing a criminal lawsuit in Virginia over allegations of gross human rights abuses in Somaliland in the 1970s and 1980s. This guy was a former military commander accused of war crimes, and he was just driving for Uber. This isn't the first time this has been an issue with him, though. He actually worked for the TSA at Dulles in 2016 or so, and the CNN outed this and was like, hey, even though this guy passed a background check, what the fuck? He's a war criminal, so maybe you shouldn't have him working for the security agency.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know.
But TSA doesn't do anything anyway.
That's true. TSA is also just there so that you feel better.
Yeah.
Well, that and some people say that it was just there to create jobs, which is, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But they fail like 90% of tests.
They're terrible.
So, I mean, the guy being a war criminal isn't necessarily hurting TSA because they already suck. But
he's probably better at picking people out.
But believe it or not, he had a 4.89 out of 5 rating as an Uber driver.
That's
It's
awesome.
called Uber Pro Diamond.
The man is, he's dedicated to the cause of being a good Uber
That's
driver.
pretty crazy. I mean, that's super high. It's very easy to offend someone in an Uber. But on the flip side of things, he allegedly burnt captives alive and dragged a man behind a vehicle until he was torn apart in the 1970s and 80s. Those are just a few of the crimes that he's been accused of.
I guess it's pretty hard to prove.
It is. So the case was brought, this particular civil case, which is interesting, because it's weird. It's like things that happen in foreign countries don't really fall under U.S. criminal law, so it's a civil case. And it's happened several other times in the country. The case was brought up on behalf of Farhan Warfa, who says he was interrogated and tortured for months in 1987 for being part of the Somali National Movement, which was a resistance movement, essentially. When the movement attacked the headquarters where Warfa was captive, Ali paused to order a counterattack before shooting Warfa 5 times.
So this, you're telling me this guy is bringing up a lawsuit against a guy who shot him 5 times, presumably point blank.
Yes.
And he lived.
He lived through that.
I'm going to have to call bullshit on that.
He lived through that, and when the other members at the headquarters where he was being held captive realized that, they then ransomed him off. They were like, oh, wait, he's not dead. Why don't we try and sell him?
Okay.
So,
What
sucks to
kind
be
of
that
gun was
guy.
he using? A .22 pistol?
I don't know.
A pellet rifle?
Maybe he just shot him in the legs. But I think he must be dead now. Either way, the lawsuit's being brought on his behalf. He's not the one doing it.
Okay.
So, but he definitely lived through that at least. In other news relating to Uber, you can now set a setting in your app that allows for a quiet conversation.
Is that like your preference?
It's a preference now.
So-
So that you don't have to talk to your criminal warlord driver.
I bet he was an interesting person to talk to.
I'm sure he was. But is that who you really want to talk to after a hard day at work?
No, it's not. But it is someone I want to talk to a night after the bar.
No one would ever believe you. If
No.
It's like, hey, I talked to this guy who killed thousands of people. No way.
Yeah.
Where'd you meet him? Oh, he was my Uber driver.
Just shows you that Somalia is not the place for success if you could be a general there and murder thousands of people and then have to drive an Uber in the United States.
Ooh, even worse, though. Have to work at TSA first. Ooh.
Yeah, what was the guy he just got to the U.S. and he's like, well, I don't have any qualifications, so I guess I'll go to the TSA.
Seems legit. They'll hire anyone.
They
and
really
especially people who don't want to do their job. Especially those people.
Moving forward.
Have you heard about the Impossible Burger?
I hadn't heard of it until some dickwad brought it up to me a couple days ago.
The Impossible Burger, I think it comes from the company called Impossiburger. They just shortened it.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a meat substitute made out of the roots of a soy plant. So it's been approved by the FDA. It's weird because it actually has, when you grind up the roots, it does look like ground beef, and it also has blood-ish in it.
Okay.
When you grind it up, it has like red stuff. From what I've seen on the internet, it's a good meat substitute. I'm not really gonna believe it until I try it, which I'm probably never gonna do, honestly.
I'm never gonna choose a not meat burger over a meat burger.
Right.
I've never ever looked at the menu and said, "Ooh, they have soy burgers. Let me get that."
Right. There's an episode of Parks and Rec where one guy, they're doing a burger off. This one guy makes a really fancy like turkey burger with like really good, like toppings and seasoning with an au jus and an aioli, and then the other guy just makes hamburger bun. You can put cheese on it if you like, and he wins. And I mean, we made just a burger the other day. It's just hamburger on the grill, like one of the best burgers I've ever had. That's it. It's like it's hard to beat. So I don't really understand the appeal. I guess if you're a vegetarian and want something that tastes kind of like a burger-ish, sure. But the big news is this has been approved by the FDA. That was a couple months ago. McDonald's and I believe Burger King are now going to put this out. They're going to put this on their menu as a meatless burger option.
Well, good for them. I just feel like the people who choose these kinds of things are people who don't really understand. They're the people who order a well-done steak at a restaurant. They go to a steakhouse and they get a well-done steak. They don't know what meat is supposed to taste like. So they're like, this plant-based bun or patty is going to be delicious. Jesus, whose phone is that? Sorry. It's going to be, it's going to taste exactly the same. They're wrong.
Right.
I don't care what you say. It can't taste like meat because it's not meat.
I mean, it's probably targeted to vegetarians. So not us.
Another tiptoers around. Have you ever had a veggie burger?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a good one?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I've had really good turkey burgers. It's still meat. I mean,
yeah, it's still
meat. It's an inferior meat to
Agreed.
beef.
A beef patty is always better than any other patty.
I don't know. Fried chicken patty?
No.
What?
It's chicken's the most inferior meat of all.
You're telling me you'd rather have a shitty McDonald's hamburger than an excellent Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich?
That's not a good beef patty.
You wouldn't know it by their profit margins. But this has like been a common discussion, but we've never actually had it on or off mic. If you could get lab-grown meat, would you eat it? Like meat that they just make in a petri dish in a lab that looks and tastes exactly like meat. Would you be comfortable with that?
If at the end it's got the same DNA and genetic makeup as a cow, yeah, I'll eat it.
How does that... Let's assume the DNA is different. Let's say the taste is exactly the same, though.
Well, sure. If we're not... Taste is what matters.
Okay.
I don't care what it is.
Okay. All right.
I don't care what they put in Taco Bell meat. It's fucking delicious.
Horse.
Who cares? It's the taste that matters. The end.
Okay, that's fair.
It's not like I have to go out and take a bite out of a cow for it to be called a beef patty.
That would also be really hard
It would
to take a bite out of a cow. But I mean, I feel like lab grown meat is one of those things, like another one of those things that I'm like, it's probably coming. It's probably coming in the next 10 years. I'm going to let other people do it first. And if they get cancer, then I'm not going to eat it. Like, I feel like it's possibility of having some negative side effects that we have nothing about. Then here's another question for you. Another ethical dilemma.
Okay.
Let's say we couldn't do that with cows. Let's say we couldn't do that with chickens or turkeys or any other meat. But you could clone a human. You clone a human and effectively they won't have any sort of recognition that they're alive, any sort of sentience at all, no real brain to speak of.
What does this have to do with food?
And we could harvest them for food.
No.
You would?
No.
You wouldn't do that?
No.
Well, it has less of an impact on the environment, on like everything. Why wouldn't you?
No.
Why? It's just meat.
Just the idea of eating. I don't care if it's a vegetable. I mean, like the human kind of vegetable. I'm not gonna eat them.
What if it's delicious? What if it's even better than beef?
Ooh, you know what?
If it's better than beef,
better than beef. I might. But
it's totally ethical. Even more ethical than beef, chicken, turkey, whatever. And it's more delicious. Would you do it? Or could you
is
eat
it my clone I'm eating?
No, just someone.
Just someone's
Just
clone.
Someone. It might not even be a clone. Maybe just a lab grown.
Okay. No, I can't get behind it because the argument of when is it considered life?
If it doesn't have any brain waves, I'd say it's probably not considered alive.
But then how would you get it to grow any? I mean, I guess you could have like a child, like a small baby, but you couldn't ever get it developed to a actual human like our size, could you?
I don't know.
I don't know how cloning works.
Let's assume you could.
All right, let's assume we could. And they taste delicious? Yeah, I'd eat them.
So you're a cannibal is what you're trying to say here.
No. I feel like it's just not possible to eat other humans because humans have our own toxicities and our bodies can't filter them.
Yep.
What's
Go
up?
on.
So I'm saying like the reason why cannibals end up dying and they have like the jitters is because their amount of toxins they've consumed is just skyrocketed because they're eating humans who also had those toxins.
Well, they just needed to go on a juice cleanse to get rid of all the toxins.
Oh right, I forgot.
I mean, are there actual negative health benefits from negative health impacts from eating other people?
Yes.
Besides, I know if you eat their brain, you'll get pre-ounce and you'll go crazy. And it's similar if you eat like monkey brains. It can be very, very bad for you. But
it's honestly because
just meat?
Yeah, I believe it's because your body can only filter certain things.
Are they cooked to 165 degrees Fahrenheit?
I don't think that has to do with toxins are usually like heavy metals, other chemicals, and they don't get cooked off.
What does metallic have anything to do with this?
Why are you being this way? You're just pissing me off. No, it's just you can't eat humans. Final line, you can't eat humans unless they're delicious clones.
All right. I'm good at that.
All right. You're just going to ask my opinion? Cool.
Yep.
All right. I'm done. I'm done with it.
So the FCC, actually, let me back up. Do you get robocalls?
Every day.
Okay. For a while there, I felt like it was just me. I would ask other people like, hey, do you get like spam calls from robots? And they'd be like, not really. I was getting like 4 or 5 a day from like just random robots like, you have been reported to the IRS. Please call if 9 water for money back. Social Security lawsuit against you. It's like obviously written by someone who doesn't speak English because the grammar's bad. And it's a robocall asking for my Social Security number.
Mine is, this is Jennifer from concerning your federal security or your federal loan, student loan. 1, I don't have a federal student loan, and 2, and it's. So they called me from a number and I blocked it. And then they called me from an unknown number. But they're leaving voicemails. So It's the same exact transcript for the last. They called me every day at around 11:30 for the last 4 weeks.
Ouch. That's a lot.
And it's a different number every single time.
Wow. That's a pain.
And then I made the mistake of trying to find more information for car insurance, and I accidentally entered I didn't accidentally. I entered my number into something because I just wanted to get the quote, and then I didn't realize that they just sent my number off. And so for 2 weeks there, I was getting calls non-stop at like 3 and 4 in the morning about.
Really?
It was awful. I eventually just made it so my phone was in airplane mode.
Nice.
So only my alarm would go off, and I wouldn't get any information because I couldn't stand the calls.
That's obnoxious. That's crazy. I mean, so when we were looking to buy a truck, I put my information into a lot of stuff, and for weeks I was getting calls from like legit dealerships and stuff, but like daily emails, 2 or 3 calls a day. Like I got 2 calls from I got 3 calls in a row one time on my way home from work. It's like one from number A, another one from number A, and a third one from number B. So I picked up on that one, and it was the same guy from the first 2 calls, just calling on a different number, trying to get me to buy a truck from his lot. And I'm like, no, I'm done with that. But anyways, my point in all this is I hate robocalls. I hate spam calls. My carrier actually now filters them before they even get to my phone. So they've acknowledged that these numbers are spam numbers. And so they've done a very good job at that. What they don't do a good job at is what a lot of robocalls are doing now is they're spoofing the first 6 digits of your phone number. So let's say your phone number is 123456. That's the first 6 digits. Yeah. Then you'll get calls from 123456 and just the last 4 different. So it's hard to mark this as spam because that's somebody's real number probably.
Yeah.
So those get through, and those are annoying. I've learned to not answer anything that starts with the first 6 digits of my phone number, but the FCC has now made it legal for phone carriers to block all kinds of robocalls.
Well, they proposed it. They haven't.
Did they?
It hasn't passed yet.
The FCC has proposed a rule or a law that would make carriers able to block all robocalls.
What I don't get is why does the FCC even have to step in on this?
They've gotten so much heat for not doing anything about it because they're illegal. And something like, I think it's 25 billion robocalls were placed last year.
But why isn't like Verizon already doing this for their customers?
I mean, maybe it sounds like, based on the title of this article, it sounds like they didn't have the authority to do it before that. I mean,
but the thing is, it's not like they're going to these people's centers and shutting them down. They can always filter. They've always had the ability, like Google does. That's who you have, right?
Yeah.
To filter robocalls.
Maybe they just don't care enough.
I'm glad that. Offers a new way. I'm sure it costs $40 extra for your phone bill.
Yeah, probably.
Because Verizon nickel and dimes you to death.
They certainly do.
They are a good carrier. Like in
They're
service
pretty
wise.
good. Yes. They have very good service, which is unfortunate. Oh, yep, $2.99 a month per line.
What a bunch of pain in the asses, man. Who? Dude, Verizon needs to just get an ass beating.
Still, though, I think it's good that the FCC is finally taking action. There's been a lot of news with them and robocalls over the last 6 months or so, like trying to finally do something about this. I mean, they have fined a couple companies for producing these robocalls, and I think at least one robocall center has been shut down, but it's not enough. I mean,
no.
And it's not you and me that are actually getting scammed. It's people who don't know any better, and it's terrible to take advantage of those people.
It is.
And it's disgusting, and it's really, really, really annoying. Just constantly getting spam phone calls. But
the thing is, I usually answer my phone without looking because
Hi, this is Jennifer from Account Services.
That woman can die. I don't know who did that recording, but they should also get an ass beating.
There's nothing wrong with your credit card.
We're just letting you know that we can steal your Social Security if you enter it right now.
Oh, yeah. People will probably still enter it.
Oh,
They'll be like half listening, kids arguing in the backseat, like on speakerphone, like, shut up! And it's like, Social Security number, like, okay, 1, 2, 3,
I've always wanted to know how easy it is to spam the population, and I feel like it's too easy.
Yeah. Especially with like, it's like most of the time when you dial a number, you're going to get a number. It's going to be a real number. So, just set up a robot that just calls numbers constantly.
And that's what they do.
Yep. Too easy.
I preferred the email version of this.
Oh, where you get spam?
Yeah.
See, that was blocked so easy.
It was, but some of it was pretty enjoyable. Like, I'm some prince who has $5 million and I need to send it to you right away.
The first time I got one of those emails when I was like 10, I replied.
Did you?
I did. I was like, what does this mean? It was like, I'm a Nigerian prince. I need to, send me money to send you money. Although I didn't read it clearly enough because obviously I would have been like, well, that's a scam. But I was like, what does this mean?
You're telling me you have money.
I am, in fact, broke. So,
How about this? Instead of me sending you $500, you send me $10,000 and I'll send you back $100,000. You got a deal?
Yeah.
See if you can scam them right back.
I think I've seen someone do that. Successfully scam a scammer.
Are you talking about the James Veitch skits?
I don't know.
Or sketches where he responds to spammers and just wastes their time just like they're wasting his time.
I've seen that, right? But I think I've actually seen someone actually get money from a scammer. They've convinced them that they need the money to do something, to give them the money to do something, and it's like, nice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
So that is that's annoying. Scammers are annoying. Also, in the world of scamming, China has banned Wikipedia in every language from its internet because they have the authority to do that. So those poor high school students, how are they going to write their papers?
What do you expect them to do?
Use a VPN, apparently.
Oh, this is in preparation for Tiananmen.
In preparation for Tiananmen Square.
What did they killed a bunch of people with tanks, right?
They killed a bunch of protesters with tanks, mostly college students.
Yeah.
I want to say it was thousands of people. Don't know the exact numbers. 30 years ago, about. Just a couple weeks. In just a couple weeks, it'll be 30 years.
All right. Okay. Well, Wiki, we're sorry for your loss. You just lost your largest population in the world.
The largest population besides, the rest of the world.
I want to know
combined.
if their high school teachers were like, you need to find 6 sources and Wikipedia is not an appropriate source. I hated hearing that.
Yeah. Because Wikipedia is a great place to get sources from.
Well, you know what that's what I was about to say. What I did was I would write my paper off the Wiki article, and then when I needed to cite sources for the article, I would just pick theirs out and put them in.
That's pretty good. That's a good way to use it because the sources. I mean, Wikipedia is reliable. There's instances where it's not so reliable. Like there's the one guy who every time he got drunk, he would go to the map of the United States and make Kentucky just a little bit bigger.
I forget what state it was, but he did make a state
just a little bit bigger.
It was like the overall size was like 25% larger. It was like bigger than Texas and California combined,
which is great. And that's the kind of thing that Wikipedia is really good for.
Yeah, but also, I feel like when it comes to, the general knowledge of a topic, there's no better place to find just general knowledge.
General knowledge, I absolutely agree.
If you're looking for specifics, it might not be the best. Because,
click on those source links.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get it. Then you get everything that you need to know. It's a shame, though. It's a shame that China is banning its citizens from having actual information.
Well, no.
That's what happens in the communist government.
That's what happens in a communist country.
Yep.
Also, when half your country has no infrastructure, it's pretty easy to make them. They're not looking at Wikipedia anyway.
That's true. The western half of China is like nothing. Don't even have roads.
Nope.
Living in the dark ages still.
Yeah.
Quite literally. It's very dark over there.
It is. They only have candles.
So, in other news, flying taxis are on their way. There's a company called Lilium, which is proposing to have fully operational flying taxi services in 2025. They're going to be completely electric. They have a range of 186 miles and also, weirdly, a top speed of 186 miles per hour. And
So they can fly for. That means they go to 186 immediately. That would be a rough one.
That would be rough. No, so that's just they're not exactly related statistics.
Yeah.
It just and it's around 300 kilometers an hour. So that's probably why they picked it. They were just looking at 300. But it's cool. I think this is yet another one of those things. I'm like, yeah, let other people test it out.
How does this work? Do you have to go to an airport to catch this taxi?
I think anywhere that it can
Land.
Okay, that is assuming large FAA intervention, FFA regulation, allowing these things to do this. But yeah, so I mean, with a range of 186 miles, you can't. It would make no sense to be airport to airport. That'd be stupid.
Yeah.
And I think they only carry. I think this one's like 5 people. Yeah, a 5-seater. The benefit of them is that number one, no traffic. Or fewer traffics now.
The thing is, you have to go somewhere where it can land.
Yeah,
and then get into a car.
It's rolling out to cities, multiple cities, which doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, I get the concept of it, but like, where are you gonna land?
The only place that would work is D.C. because we have an airport in the south and we have an airport in the north.
West,
yeah, but it's still north of the original airport.
Yeah.
But you'd still have to drive and get back on the Beltway, which is the whole point of avoiding it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so they're gonna have to figure something out, right? Because that doesn't make any sense. They're gonna have to be able to land somewhere.
Yeah,
it would make absolutely no sense to do city to city, but it's an interesting concept. It's very futuristic. I mean, the fact that they're all electric is pretty weird to me because it's like, what if the batteries just run out?
So, it hopes to have a fully operational.
It hopes. Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Probably not. I mean, it's pretty. It's pretty ambitious.
The biggest thing for those who don't know is the problem with electric flight is the weight of the batteries. They don't produce enough energy to get themselves off the ground.
Well, it does.
It doesn't.
It does.
It does not.
It does.
I don't think so. Is it tested?
Yeah. Maybe not this particular one, but they have electric flying vehicles.
Yeah, but the thing is the efficiency of it.
Nope, and therein lies my next point, is that on medium to long range journeys, an electric taxi is more efficient than a gasoline vehicle. Marginally, but when you consider the fact that it's flying, which is cooler, and and then it also avoids traffic, there's some benefits to it. So yes, it's a lot to get it off the ground, but once it gets there, it's not exactly. It's only fighting 9.8 meters per second.
Right.
It's not fighting that, and then the additional, gravity resistance to go up, and then it can fly fairly efficiently. So I think it's like after 30 miles, which is not that much. After 30 miles, a flying taxi is more efficient than a gasoline car, and it's more efficient than an electric car.
Oh, yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Because electric cars are on the road.
Right.
And there's just a lot more friction there.
A lot more friction there. So, I mean, yeah, in theory, they're more efficient. And they actually are able to get off the ground.
Where are you? I feel like isn't going to help anybody because if you go to a city, you have to land at the airport in the city. And everyone knows the worst traffic in any city is at the freaking airport.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're going to have to land somewhere else.
But they'd have to build other airports for them.
Not airports. You can just have like a landing pad on top of a building.
Planes aren't very good at stopping.
It hovers. It hovers.
You have not included that.
Oh my God, it hovers.
You never said that. You bastard. You missed the whole freaking point.
I thought that was obvious. Important point. It hovers. Yeah, they have vertical takeoff and landing. That's a big point.
Why didn't you just needed to start this whole thing? I would have.
I'm sorry. I thought it was obvious. Apparently not.
Not
it's
at
also
all.
the first line of the article right there.
But you know the people who listen to this can't see that.
You can see that.
I can see it, but you never.
Okay, so looking back, they take off and land vertically.
Okay.
It's still going to pose a problem for landing. They still have to have somewhere to land.
Yeah,
but
now you can land at any hospital.
Yeah. I'm sure they'd love that. So, but much more realistic than it just being a plane.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I'm a little more on board with it now.
All right. Yeah. It's cool though. It's a cool idea. It's a cool concept.
That is a pretty dope idea. Now that I'm not picturing having to
Just a
land
plane,
in a grassy
having to have a
field.
runway everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so gung-ho against this until right now. And now I'm just like, yep, that sounds like a great idea. I hope this works out for him.
I hope it works out. I don't think it's going to happen by 2025.
No.
I don't think the FAA is going to get their shit together by then.
If they offered you a first free flight,
Nope.
would you do it?
Nope.
I'd do it.
You would?
Yeah.
I value my life.
I don't value mine.
All right. And moving on. So moving into video games, there's a new app called Crowd Control, which allows viewers to influence streamers' games by paying with bits, which is a currency used on Twitch. So these viewers are going to be able to like add difficulties or help the streamer out by paying real money
to give them health, or to I
spawn
believe
more enemies
spawn
or
more
something
enemies.
like that.
Dark Souls is going to be a part of this.
That's so incredibly difficult.
And apparently speed running has become the huge thing, like trying to beat things as quickly as possible. And crowd control is going to be basically the streamer versus his viewers.
That's cool.
So
I like that.
I think that's way more engaging. That's a great move by Twitch to incorporate this with their own system. That is awesome.
Yeah, and that's really cool. The problem right now is that the games don't really have the support for it. The most of the games that are featured right now are the old games, which they're able to basically modify. But newer games hopefully will build this in, because that would be so awesome. That would be so cool.
Now, how much fun would it be to be like, all right, we've got how we play games together. If I could influence your game,
That'd be pretty annoying.
It'd
be cool though.
I mean, but it didn't cost us money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay $10 to kill you
Okay,
every time. I
that's
mean,
fair.
I would if
That's
it was
fair.
important to you. I could spend $100.
Okay. No, I think it's a really cool idea. I enjoy it.
I'm excited to try this out. I will probably go on and try it out because
For sure.
I want to see how it works.
I at least want to watch something where the audience is influencing the games.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I find it's like if you're looking to try out Twitch and their new experiences, find a small streamer, someone who only has like 10, 15 viewers, and that way you can have more of like a one-on-one interaction with them, and it's pretty enjoyable.
Spend hundreds of dollars just to kill them over and over again until they quit streaming forever.
And exactly.
Ruin their life.
And find out you need a different job. You could always hang studs.
Oh, yeah. Seems like anyone can do that.
I'm not arguing.
So it seems like you can only do this on PC, which is neither here nor there. But in console news, Sony and Microsoft have agreed to work together in the future. Sony is going to use Microsoft's cloud service, and it's very, very vague, but they're like, yeah, let's work together. So that has some good implications for the next generation of consoles. Maybe there will be some more developmental, cross play and that kind of stuff, and doing less exclusives, because that really doesn't help anyone except for the companies. But it's very vague. It's in its infancy. It was announced a couple days ago, but it has good implications. Not amazing, but good implications.
Yeah, collaboration benefits everybody.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And so
I think it's because Microsoft just has they have their own cloud platform and Sony hasn't developed one.
Right.
So why not use someone who has a similar gaming system to you to use their cloud feature? It probably already supports you.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It makes sense from a business standpoint as well. So it's cool. This says, don't worry, they're still competitors. It sounds like maybe they're not going to work together that much, but it's vague. They didn't say it. They didn't say what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They just said they're going to work together. Even that, baby steps. Baby steps. Collaboration is good.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm tired of hearing. When I was younger, I couldn't stand the whole PlayStation, Xbox argue.
Same. I still can't. I mean,
and I was thinking about it when you said that the exclusives doesn't help anyone except the game. Like the thing was, like, since I played Xbox, and let's say there was an exclusive on PlayStation, I wasn't going to buy a whole different console to play one game.
exactly.
So it just pretty much, once they had you, you just stayed with it.
Yeah, and you you most of the time became a fanboy. Like, I knew a couple people that had the money to blow on each console, and then when the new generation came around, they'd buy each console.
Yeah.
And PlayStation has a lot of games that I would have liked to have played, like Uncharted and God of War, and Xbox has some games that I could have never not played. Like, I would never have given up on the Halo series.
Yeah.
I mean, that in and of itself makes Xbox totally worth it to me. So,
Yep.
But that being said, PC is better than console.
Always.
100%. I'm so glad all you guys are on board with that now.
I'm glad Nick bought a PC to not play a PC.
Right? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Whatever.
At least he's not spending his weekend playing it,
That's true.
unlike someone I know.
Yeah. Who would move their entire PC just to play in a different location
This guy
for
would.
a couple hours?
Me? I would.
On that disappointing note, I think it's time to end.
Definitely.
Let's wrap up. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and to our YouTube and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you have any tips, suggestions, feedback, things you would like to hear us discuss on the podcast, or anger management tips for Zach, please don't hesitate to send us an email at lonespeedpodcast@gmail.com.
Are you kidding me?
Or reach out to us through our social media channels. If you want to support us and get some awesome merch, head on over to our Teespring page and get some bear gear, because everybody likes bears. Thank you to all of our patrons. If you want to get stickers, shoutouts, bonus content, help us by subscribing to some of our tiers starting at measly $2 a month. Your contributions help keep the content rolling and the beer flowing.
Are you like the classic ad on TV? that
That's
just
what I'm going
speeds
for.
Jesus.
I think it's time to end.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed.